So I had to do this one twice because I accidentally deleted the first copy. So to make a long story short, Dashawn was one of the most epic people you could ever encounter, and he is a legendary friend, and our bond shall go forward into eternity. I mean, the first time I met this dude, it was B. McGee's cousin, and he's like, yo, you know, my cousin just moved here, and Dashawn was saying he was from Delaware. He was saying it was all hard and stuff. So I remember he was at the water fountain at Kettler Park, and I ran up and I pushed him off it, and he cried. And after that, we became friends. And I still remember the first time I asked my mom, could I spend the night at his house in Candlelight? She said, yeah. And I remember we went from the daycare, because look, if y'all never went to daycare in your neighborhood, you'll never understand what it was like having a daycare family. So I still remember his grandma taking us to the house in Candlelight and us playing the game. And we played so many games. Like, we loved Soul Calibur, Soul Edge, Gauntlet Legends, everything, Dynasty Warriors, anything coming out on that PlayStation or the Nintendo, like, we loved. I had the Nintendo, he had the PlayStation. So I would be getting the Nintendo games, he'd be getting the PlayStation games. We would spend weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks with each other, you know, playing the game, playing at the park, doing whatever. The adventures we had were so many and so mystical. I don't think the average mind could even comprehend it, you know. And the thing about Dashawn is he could not be disrespected. He would whoop everybody. I mean, we would go from backyard to backyard to front yard to front yard to park to school to school. And he would accept every challenge and challenge everybody, and he would whoop them all. And he was short. He was short as hell, but he was stocky, like Mike Tyson. And he would never sneak nobody. He would never slump nobody without them knowing. He'd warn them he's coming, and he'd give them a chance to defend themselves, and he would whoop everybody. And I know this would make street niggas mad because we were nerds primary. We loved being in the house playing the game, and we figured out how to flip the script by going on the offensive. And D had everybody scared. He would confront you with his shorts above the kneecaps and his tube socks on, and he would whoop that ass. And D was just a legend. I mean, he was a legend, period. I remember one time, my school, every Christmas, we would throw these grand operas, these like grand plays, huge events. People would come from all over to watch. I remember one time I brought him along to the school play, and I remember, man, this needs to be made into a movie, because a lot of y'all y'all get your knowledge about how we live from like rap videos and these whack ass movies that be coming out. But if I ever need to turn one thing into a movie scene, it's this. I remember we all went into the bathroom, and Dashawn came in, and he had to put a nigga from my school in his place. I remember he had to dunk the dude several times. He even dunked him. The dude's hand ended up in the porta potty, you know, and they fought. And not saying the dude got whooped bad, he just lost a little bit. But I remember everybody from my school was trying to like team up against Dashawn and be like, nah, our dude here won. Because we had this weird rivalry going on where we would all show up to Catholic school and we talk about how our neighborhoods were hard. And I'd always be telling the people at my school, hey, the niggas in my neighborhood can whoop you. And I'd be telling the dudes in my neighborhood, hey, the dudes at my school can whoop you. I had that going on because I did not go to school in my district, you know. I went to school outside my district, so that day was legendary. I mean, me and Dashawn done played everything from Smash Bros to Gundam Wing to Pikmin. I remember we used to stay up late at night so we could watch Inuyasha and Cowboy Bebop on Adult Swim. And we really enjoyed our times together, you know. Unlike my other friends who I've blogged about thus far, he's still alive. but we're grown men now and we're busy, so it's hard to realign. But as soon as I can get up on some, you know what I'm saying, some huge money or something, I want to get back to what we were doing, buying video games and playing them. I remember we used to, y'all don't understand, we used to get on our bikes and like ride like 2-3 miles away down the highway on our bikes to get to Target to buy video games and bring them back to the neighborhood. And maybe one of the, look, these were those days in the 90s and 2000s when everybody was outside, wasn't no social media. If you left your bikes unguarded, motherfuckers would jack them, so we had to get the locks and lock our bikes up. And I remember one time we went in to get Final Fantasy and the dude left the games on the front counter. And we were like, man, they left them there. Like $50 was a lot of money to us, so we were both spending $50. So I remember we thought about, you know, jacking the games, but we figured there were cameras and we didn't know how we were going to get the locks off our bikes fast enough while getting chased if we took the motherfuckers and peeled out, you know what I'm saying? But we decided not to take them. We paid for our stuff. You know what I'm saying? We decided not to take them. We paid for them. And we just left and we went back home and played. But this was my main friend. Like, I still remember when he got stabbed in the chest and I was thinking, oh no. And we had to ride to get him patched up. You know, I thought he was going to die. But the good thing is he survived. But you got to look out for your buddies while they're here, alive, you know. And you got to appreciate when life is simple and all you have to do is play the game, you know. Me and Dashawn could have as much fun as anyone in the entire universe just playing a simple game like Worms on the Xbox, you know. And I feel like these street niggas are really mad out here because we were some gamers and we flipped the script on them, you know. It beat them at their own game. They always wanted to be a menace, you know. They always wanted to be a terrorist. They always wanted to, you know, invade another territory or some shit, and we'd come up out that house and whoop that ass, you know what I'm saying? Dunk them on their head for real. And we would be in the house listening to DMX. Dashawn used to listen to DMX every single day. I'd listen to it with him. And I mean, this, like, y'all, man, the times were just epic. This nigga would take all the blankets and sleep under them and crank the fan up to maximum and have the rest of us sitting there in the room freezing. And we would have to fight him to take the blankets and go to sleep. I remember he always had the pit bull, baby girl. And man, that dog was legendary too. Y'all just don't know. And look, enough said. My people are legendary. They're mystical. They're more than just a simple experience, you know. Our lives are complex and our bonds are real. And that's why I've always been desperate to do anything to get us on top. Period. And one day I'm going to pass away. But let it be known that this plot arc right here, these people at these points in space-time, their lives meant something. Dashawn will always be a legend, period.